Welcome inside the Lloyd Noble Center. A large crowd on hand tonight to see the rematch from last year's NCAA championship. Number 2 Florida versus number 1 Oklahoma, and here we go. Danielle Sievers will lead off for the Sooners on the vault. You see the 6 athletes that will be competing in the lineup. Anbar Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Sam Peshek on the call.
And
here we go, Kathy.
What a lineup Oklahoma has on vault. All 10-0 start value vaults. They'll all perform the Yurchenko 1.5 twist. Round up onto the board. Big, beautiful amplitude, and they start with a stick.
Oh my goodness. I watched her in the one-touch warm-up, and she drilled it. I thought, could she do that again?
Yes. An emphatic yes.
Oh my.
The block set up everything. A big, beautiful straight arm block. Nice shape in the air. And just perfectly stuck into the mat. What a way to start this off.
Those pointed toes going into that mat like darts on a dartboard as we go now quickly to Florida on the bars.
Number 2 in the
Sloan
nation.
Blakely leading them off here.
Number 2 in the nation on this event. Florida needs to put up big numbers here. This is where they can excel. Hitting those handstands, blind change into a front giant, and a very difficult double front dismount, and came up with their own stick.
We know it often comes down to stuck landings. We've had 2 performances and 2 perfect landings already. This is how good these 2 teams are. We'll go back to vault for the Sooners. It'll be Allie Stern after Danielle Sievers got a 9.95. Allie drilled one in warm-ups. She is a senior for the Sooners.
But you can see her calming herself down to focus, because you can get over-amped on this event. So much speed is necessary to convert it into the amplitude. But she can be uncanny with these landings. Little hop forward. A really well done vault, however. Oklahoma is number 1 on this event for good reason. The way they drill this event, the way they explode off the table, get the height and the distance, and the all-important shape in that blind landing so that they can feel it and control it.
Victoria Wynn set to go now for the Florida Gators on bars, an event, as you mentioned, they're the top team in the country on this event. Guess who's second? The Oklahoma Sooners. That's how good these 2 teams are. Update for the Sloan Blakely in the leadoff spot, Kathy, 9.925. We're going to see incredible scores tonight.
Beautiful beginning, nice opening handstand, great transitions, leg separation on that packed salto, down to the low bar, slight deduction. Leads this one right on top in that vertical position. Let's see if she can get this double layout, show the shape in the air, and find the landing. There it is.
Victoria Wynn, the transfer from Georgia. Season high, she's been in every lineup on bars. She had a 9.925 so far. There is Jenny Rowland in her 8th season as the Florida head coach. Jenny hails from Oklahoma, born in the Tulsa area. Graduated from Arizona State University. She's coached around the country. She coached at OU, at Auburn, and now the head coach of one of the great programs in women's gymnastics at Florida. Good to have Jenny Rowland back in Oklahoma as we go back to the vault now. Kat Lavasser, she scored a perfect 10 before.
One of the best 1.5s in the country. Oh, I thought she had the landing. It was so beautifully executed in the air with just phenomenal height and distance, just a slight hop forward. And you can bet that those judges are watching very closely to see if the gymnast slides after what looks like a stock landing. If they slide those feet forward, it's a deduction.
Kat Lavasser coming after Allie Stern got a 9.875. That's the same score as well for Victoria Wynn on bars. For Florida, Kayla DiCello, the freshman out of Maryland now. Look at her season average on bars, 9.93. She's 12th in the NCAA on this event, Kathy.
I love the way she attacks all of her routines. She's very aggressive. She loves pressure, and that is just something that's almost impossible to coach into an athlete. You just love it naturally.
Scored a perfect 10 earlier this season on this event.
big, nice amplitude on the ray, that single bar release. Beautiful, perfect handstand into the back salto. She has adjusted so well from the warm-ups, trying to get the timing of these bars. They're very different with the different weighted system. Those bottle bars can cause you trouble, and she just really honed everything in until that step on the landing.
Kayla DiCello has competed in the all-around several times, 6 of 8 meets for Florida, and has really been an important contributor as a young freshman, the young national team member, medalist at the World Championships in the all-around last year. Olivia Troutman will be next after Kat Lavasser had a 9.8. This is only the second time in the vault lineup this year for Olivia, recovering from an injury.
And I can't say enough about this athlete and her ability to compete and dial it in on so few reps in competition. She is just money in this situation. Take her to the bank. Wow. I mean, she has air awareness and a cat-like ability to find the landing, stay cool, absorb it, and just bring those heels together and salute.
She's a graduate student, a 6th-year senior, and it looks like it's a 10 for Olivia Troutman in the first rotation. They are on their feet in the Lloyd Noble Center. That's only her second time in the lineup this year for the Sooners, and boy, did she deliver. Back to the bars. Trinity Thomas, who herself is chasing the 10 record for Florida, on the bars now.
She is a maestro on this event. She stays cool, calm, and just flies effortlessly from bar to bar, hits all the handstands, and watch this double layout. It is a floaty, beautiful piece of work.
Her low score this year on bars is a 9.925, and she's been in the lineup all 8 meets. One of the most spectacular gymnasts in the history of NCAA gymnastics. Trinity Thomas just on point tonight.
Her double layouts, wherever she does them, on floor, off bars, are just phenomenal. The shape she shows in the air is so beautiful.
One of the reasons the Oklahoma Sooners have been so consistent of late is the great work from the all-arounder Jordan Bowers. Here she goes. She's just a sophomore out of Nebraska, Kathy.
Ranked number 6 in the nation on this event. Good technique. Not quite a perfect stock landing, but another really great vault from Oklahoma.
It's interesting with that vault because you certainly don't want to land and step backwards. So the default is always to land, and if you have to slide forward a little bit, that's a better step than otherwise backwards.
Yes, because you want to show the full amplitude and the full execution of the 1.5, then stick the landing.
Plus, because it's a blind landing like that, it's pretty easy to sit those down. Excellent job for the Sooners being especially aggressive on their vaults today.
Absolutely, and that blind landing, you're right, when you're facing the ceiling and just feeling where the floor is until you can actually see it.
Leanne Wong, she's competing in the all-around for Florida tonight, the only all-arounder in their lineup tonight.
And she can be stunning on this event, showing great amplitude on those flight skills from bar to bar.
Well, the score in for Trinity Thomas at 9.975, which means one of the 2 judges gave her a 10.
Getting beautiful handstands in this routine, and another double layout from Florida. A little quick salute to the judge. We call that a college salute. Tried to show that stick before saluting the judge.
She's been in every lineup on bars, 6 times in the all-around, the sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas, and twice she scored perfect 10s on bars this season. Let's go down to Sam Pesching.
Thanks, Bart. Yeah, last weekend, Florida got a 49.8 on bars, which is their highest event score of any event so far this season. So they said it was due to all their stuck landings. That's their game plan today. They just want to win the moment and do what they do every single day in training. Because if they up their average in training, that's what they're going to compete.
Final vaulter is Audrey Davis for the Sooners.
Another 1.5. Wow, that is actually the best vault I've seen her do, because she has what we call a built-in deduction, usually separates her leg. as she makes contact with the table, and honestly, that looked like they were much more together. So let's see in the replay and from the side, which is where the judges sit, keep in mind. You know what? She actually did really try to keep those legs closer together. Great job. I love to see. Now, from that angle, you could see it's almost like a scissor. So the judges will catch that built-in deduction.
Okay, before her, Jordan Bowers had a 9.875. Riley McCusker coming after Leanne Wong's 9.9. McCusker in the bar lineup again this week, 2 weeks in a row, Kathy.
She can be just pristine on this event. Such straight legs, perfect toe point, and she is going hard for the handstands, really showing them off. Better than last week right there. Stalled her into the tuck double back, holds on to the landing. Just a balance adjustment with the torso.
Former U.S. team member, gold medalist with the World Championship team in 2018. Last week had a 9.95 in only her second attempt on the bars. We expect we'll see her on the balance beam tonight as well.
So the judges see just how straight those handstands are, and look at the toe point, like a dart, a laser dart shooting through the ceiling. Beautiful.
These two teams separated by less than 1/10 of a point. Florida moves in this second of 4 rotations to the vault. And their first vaulter, Peyton Richards, and the Sooners will be on the bars in this rotation. There is the lineup, which includes, of course, Trinity Thomas, who's going for history. Perfect tens.
And like Oklahoma, Florida is performing 5 10-0 start value vaults. Actually 6 in the lineup plan. Opens with a 1.5 twist. That is her best vault of the season.
Just like the Sooners, they lead off with a stuck landing. I saw her stick one in the warm-up, and I thought, can she do that again?
This one is cleaner than she's been all season.
Oh,
really
wow.
finessed that landing, because she could have easily under-rotated and stepped back, and instead she stayed cool, absorbed it.
How about that? Expect a big score in that leadoff spot for the visiting Florida Gators. Danny Sievers now on bars, tied for 21st in the NCAA. This is an amazing team here, currently ranked number 1.
Great routine to start them off. Really works on keeping the good form, legs together, toes pointed. Let's see if she can really emphasize that final handstand. And of course, the dismount, full twisting double tuck. And of course, what else?
Oklahoma's been working hard to solidify their lineups, and I asked head coach KJ Kindler, why do you like Danny Sievers in this first part? She said, wow, she worked so hard in practice to be detail-oriented. She's got good angles in her handstand, and man, she's good at sticking. She's 2 for 2. She stuck her vault, and now she stuck her bars too.
What a start for Danielle Sievers. Last week had a 9.925 on bars. The sophomore out of South Dakota. Leanne Wong will be next up for Florida on vault. Peyton Richards led them off an outstanding 9.9.
Different looking vault here. It's the same round off entry, but a half on, front pike, half off, and an excellent execution of that complex vault. And just a scoot back on the landing.
She's been in the lineup 8 times for the Gators this year. Her season high was last week, 9.925. This was good.
Watch the complexity, a lot of twisting onto the table and off the table with that pike front half. Well done.
Danae Fletcher will be up next. Danielle Sievers led off the Sooners with a season high 9.925. Fletcher was rested last week against West Virginia. She should be fresh.
Opens with a very difficult pike dagger. That is an E release move on the bars, the highest level of difficulty. Good packed salto down to the low. You want to see straight arms on all these casts. She was a little bit short on that final cast handstand and took that full twisted double back out, but still found the landing.
The last weekend of the regular season brings us some great college basketball games on Saturday on ESPN and the app. Two of the top teams in the Big 12 square off at 4 Eastern, with number 9 Texas hosting number 3 Kansas. Then it's Duke and North Carolina. And at 10 Eastern, the top teams in the Pac-12 get after it. Number 4 UCLA hosts number 8 Arizona. Back now to the vault. Sloan Blakely coming after Leanne Wong, her season high 9.95.
Good vault in terms of distance for sure, but unfortunately the big hop forward will be a sizable landing deduction.
Olivia Troutman had a 10 in that first rotation. See what she can do on the bar, Sam.
Yeah, Bart, I was at practice yesterday and I asked her, how are you in such phenomenal shape after not being able to train like you're used to? And she said, man, I've been working really hard. I took my recovery seriously. I rode the bike for cardio. I've been focusing on fueling my body the correct way and my mental game, of course. And you can really see it showing up here today.
This is only her 3rd time in the lineup for Sooners. She's already scored 9.925 here this season.
Watch her superb extension and stretch at the end of each swing element. Really tight through the torso. Sets up the dismount, and she can be the stick queen. Double layout. There it is. Give her the crown.
You know, it's funny, we were talking to KJ Kindler about why she calls her the secret weapon. She said, I can trust her. She said, even if she doesn't do the same number of repetitions as some of the athletes, she is going to hit.
And as I said, I love the extension of her swing. And of course, the way she can just zone out everything and find that landing is unreal.
There is KJ Kindler in her 17th season. 5 NCAA championships. She has the distinction of being the only coach to bring 2 teams to the NCAA finals. She did it at Iowa State before she came here to OU. The vault for Florida.
Kayla DiCello, wow. Best vault for her of this season. And this is a new vault this season. Just learned this 1.5 twist, and each meet it has gotten better. So watch from the side. We're going to see how high she gets off the table. 5 feet off the table. Just tiny bit of soft knees as she goes into the landing, but we're looking at it in slow motion.
From one former national team member, Kayla DiCello, to another, here is Reagan Smith. Hard to believe she's a senior now for the Sooners here on the bars.
Dynamic routine here. She swings hard on this event. Big Ray, that single bar release move. Well done. And the transition to the low with a pack salto. Nice and floaty. Oh, a little off kilter on that half pirouette. You really need to finish that in a vertical handstand like that one. See if she can get this double layout. Nice height on that dismount, and that dismount is actually improving this season, getting a little bit more of that layout position, not so much of the pike.
Coming after Olivia Troutman had a 9.9 for the Sooner. Kayla DiCello a 9.95 before, as we get set now for Trinity Thomas. We are on the 10 watch. She scored 25 perfect 10s in her illustrious career, and she scored on bars a 10 as well, and vault.
And she drilled one in warm-ups. Let's see if she can find it here. Oh no, step forward. Look at the distance though from the table. That was fantastic.
4 times in her career, she has scored what's called the Gym Slam, which is a 10 on all 4 apparatus.
So look how far she travels from that table. The judges want to see both height and distance, and of course, they love to see that stuck landing.
Reagan Smith for the Sooners had a 9.8 on the bars. This brings up Jordan Bowers. You see her season average and her ranking in the all-around. She has been a workhorse for the Sooners.
There's a giant blind change into a high-flying straddle Jaeger. Salto down to low bar, nice straight arm work. Another handstand pirouette that was slightly off kilter. really showed up that final handstand. See if they can get yet another stick, half in, half out. Holds on to it.
Kathy, it's clear this meet's going to come down to the little things. These two teams are so evenly matched.
The judges look for the amplitude and the rotation on those release moves. And of course, they want to see a perfectly stuck landing. If they have to adjust with their torso or the arms, that can be a slight deduction.
Tom Haley, the assistant coach for the Sooners, is giving a few notes to her as Victoria Wynn gets set to go in the last spot for Florida. Trinity Thomas had a 9.875 before her.
This is a new fall perfect. Just goodness gracious.
My.
Okay.
Wow.
So she's okay.
Miraculously.
And her hands just slipped on the table. She protected herself well as she went over.
Oh my goodness, that was tough to see, but looks like she's going to be okay. Audrey Davis will anchor for the Sooners on bars. Jordan Bowers before her, 9.925.
One of the most magnificent bar routines in college gymnastics. It is just pristine in form, technique, difficulty, and unique. Watch this skill right here that she sets up. It's a Higgins roll, goes into that L grip. Front giant and a double front half with a superb landing. Come on, judges.
She has scored 9.975s before. She has breathtaking release moves and form and execution, Kathy. It's just a matter of time before we see the perfect 10.
It's truly awe-inspiring. What's so impressive is the way she does these turning elements and finishes them in the handstand. She can show off a handstand like no one else. Perfectly straight line all the way through her toes. And then look how high this is.
Double front half out of that eagle grip. Very high level of difficulty, even more than the basic level of difficulty required in NCAA gymnastics. Wow.
Welcome back to the Lloyd Noble Center, where Oklahoma is taking on Florida. We're at the halfway point here, and Oklahoma is just above Florida. Of course, 2 more rotations to go there.
KJ Kindler giving a few notes to Jenna Dunn, the senior here from the Oklahoma City area, who has really earned her leadoff spot throughout her career, Kathy.
Absolutely. She is one of the best leadoff performers on this event. And it's because of her rock-steady nerves and the preparation that goes into being able to lead off a team like Oklahoma on this event. It is all about trust. You trust your training, your talent, and you trust your teammates. When you feel that, you can compete full out. Opens right here with the triple series. Very difficult. 2-back handspring to a layout step out.
I love this story about Jenna Dunn. She's a local athlete, walked on to the Oklahoma Sooners, and here now finally in her senior season has earned a scholarship for one of the best beam teams in the country, Kathy.
Without a doubt, she showed beautiful positions in those leaps and jumps, just full split in the air, nice extension.
It's a good message for the young girls out there that are watching. Never give up. Here she is now competing in a key spot for the Sooners and delivering again.
And always take it to the finish, as she just did, punctuated. Such a solid routine for Oklahoma, as she has done so many times in her career. Follows through right here, and it's not over till it is over. Big stick.
Well, how about this? Leah Clapper now set to go on floor, the senior originally from Michigan. She has earned her spot in the lineup for the first time this year, Kathy. Let's go to Sam.
Yeah, she's been injured so far this season, so she finally worked her way back into this lineup. She's been warming up well. I asked, why is she in this first place spot? They said, well, she's a fifth-year senior. She's reliable, she's consistent, and they're hoping she does her job here tonight.
Whoa, just stays in bounds. As long as you don't go over that white line, you're in bounds. It's okay to step on it.
Scores in for Oklahoma's Jenna Dunn in that leadoff spot on beam. It's a 9-9.
Leah has appeared most often in the beam lineup, sometimes in that anchor spot for Florida in previous years.
Yeah, that's really where we're used to seeing her, is in that anchor spot on beam. Great to see her on floor, wrapping up her career here as we're finishing up the regular season. And of course, we have a full postseason lineup on the ESPN family of networks coming up. But this is one of the great regular season matchups of the year, 1 versus 2.
Leah Clapper gets to start Florida off on floor exercise. Her first competitive routine of the season. Good for her.
The senior out of Michigan on one of the finest teams in America. And let's face it, it's hard to make the lineup here with as superb as this team is.
Absolutely. Now, she was a little bit off between those two elements, didn't quite time that punch in between, but great to see her get this opportunity, and it gives Florida the opportunity to rest some of their athletes that need some rest on floor.
Olivia Troutman already having a spectacular night here for the Sooners, now on the beam.
Like she is on so many other elements in all of her routines, she can focus really like no other. The concentration that it takes to perform on beam when you don't have the reps, when you can't do the numbers. It's that all the training the years before just come into play, and it's muscle memory, but it's also just a mental toughness that she has. Notice that quick, just a slight correction there. She didn't overcorrect when she was slightly off.
Had a knee surgery back in October. This is her 6th time in the lineup on beam for the Sooners.
Such a big part of the success of Oklahoma these past few years. Didn't quite get the stick there, but I can't overstate how impressed I am with her ability to step into a lineup at this point in the season and just be money for them.
She has had so many injuries throughout her career. Great to see her contributing as a graduate student, and will be a part of the Oklahoma scene as they head into the postseason this year for another shot at a national championship. She has contributed a great deal. Lori Brubach now, the freshman from Apopka, Florida, coming after Leah Clapper led off the Gators with a 9.75.
Florida has a lot of depth this year, so a lot of their athletes can perform on floor. Opens with a front layout to a Rudy.
This is the 5th time in the lineup this year for Brubach on floor. 9.85 is her season high. We got the word just before the competition started today that Florida is resting Trinity Thomas, Sloan Blakely, and Miela DiCello on floor. So that means those 3 are not competing in the all-around today, giving an opportunity for some others.
On the first pass, let's see if she can control that landing. Well done. Notice how she kept that front foot planted on the mat as she stepped into the lunge.
And we'll go back to beam for the Oklahoma Sooners. Olivia Troutman, a 9.825. Next up will be Jordan Bowers. Let's go to Sam.
Thanks, Bart. Yeah, Jordan Bowers is one of those all-around athletes from Oklahoma that we keep talking about. She is so impressive on every single event. I don't think that she has a bad event, but maybe this event has been more inconsistent than the others. You can see that she just tucked her toe 4 times, and she has a few superstitions that she told me about. That is one of them. She has a couple on the other events as well, and on meet days, she must shower with the same routine. So she was kind of laughing about it, telling me yesterday, and said, it's so much better. I used to have a lot more superstitions. And guys, this is a mental sport, so it's very normal for a lot of these athletes. I used to even have some superstitions as well.
We'll just call it routine, not superstition.
That's exactly what Jenny Rowland, head coach of Florida, told me earlier today about hers. Back handspring leg out, solid. Head coach KJ Kindler said that she's really been impressed with Jordan specifically on this event and noticed just how much work she did this summer trying to get that consistency and confidence on this event, and it's really been showing up this season.
Absolutely. She is ranked tied for 4th on this event with Kayla DiCello. So huge improvement this season. Adds to her all-around performance as well. This is a double twist dismount. See if she can get the landing. There it is. That is a superb routine. You're right, Sam. The confidence in that routine just shows with her every move. So the series, what I liked about this was the form. Judges want to see straight legs throughout the entire series. And this dismount, she did a nice job of keeping the legs together. It's really easy to get those legs crossed in the twisting moves. Well done.
There's a lot of controversy about those stuck landings, but if you land with your feet apart and close your heels together without moving the balls of your feet, it's not deductible.
Good point.
Rachel Bauman now, she is the picture of artistry on this event. She's coming after Lori Brubach at a season high 9.85.
You mentioned deductible. There are flaws that are deductible. Rachel Bauman has so few, if any. Her footwork is precise. Opens with a difficult combination pass, back 1.5 to front full. Notice how high up on toe she works. The strength in her ankles and her ballet training really shows. The extension, talk about oversplit. On this final pass, it's a double back in piped position. Oh, a big bounce. That's too bad. And out of bounds. Oh, the rest of the routine was so good. It's too bad you can't give bonus for the exquisite footwork and the precise form, the polish. Good difficulty on this combination pass because she twists both elements. And these leaps are to die for. They are just way up in the air with perfect split. But right here, the judges are going to have to put pen to paper and take a deduction for the big hop and then a 1/10 of a point for out of bounds.
See that supplemental mat? The athletes are allowed to use that mat. It's called a sting mat to take the sting out of the ankles. Audrey Davis.
Talk about a beautiful shape. That her flexibility is so extraordinary. She can show it off.
Jordan Bowers had a 9.95.
Watch how she does her full turn. Kicks out. Quite as big a kick out as she normally does. And again, the footwork goes up on high toe, straight legs. Oh, slight balance correction there. Balance deductions range anywhere from a 0.05 for barely a correction to a big 3 or 4 tenths for a near fall.
Had a 9.95 on bars in the last rotation. 3 times this year she's competed in the all-around for the Sooners, including last week against Virginia. Today just in 3 of 4 events, not in the floor.
Audrey also performs a double twist dismount. Many of the gymnasts do a 1.5 and land facing away.
Oh.
Wow, 2 stock double twist. That, you just can't come up with that when you don't have the kind of preparation and training, skills and drills and landing drills. Fantastic.
The last weekend of the regular season brings us some great college basketball games Saturday on ESPN and the app. 2 of the top teams in the Big 12 score up at 4 Eastern, with number 9 Texas hosting number 3 Kansas. Then it's Duke and North Carolina, and at 10 Eastern, the top teams in the Pac-12 get after it. Number 4 UCLA hosts number 8 Arizona. Back to the floor now. Peyton Richards coming after Rachel Bauman had a 9.725 after stepping out of bounds on her final tumbling run.
With a double layout. Look for the stretch straight body and stayed in bounds. Requirements on floors to do a tumbling pass with 2 different saltos. They can be directly connected or indirectly. This one is a back 1.5 to a front fall. A difficult combination, earns a lot of bonus. She'll be happy with that. Really nice job. Just a big step on the double layout. Stayed in bounds, but they'll take off for a large lunge there. There it is, right there. Notice how that front foot slid back. She wasn't in complete control, and it was too large to be a perfect and non-deductible landing. But good control there.
Faith Torres up now for Oklahoma. Audrey Davis had a 9.875. Torres 3 times in the all-around for the Sooners this season.
Nice job right here with this wolf jump. That's one of the best wolf jumps on beam that I've ever seen. Very high, clean position in the air, and gets that front leg parallel to the beam.
The freshman from Wisconsin.
Oh. And I love that combination side aerial to layout. So difficult. 0.5 of a point for the fall. She'll get credit. She got both feet on to almost complete the skill. So a good time to remind people that they can drop 1 low score because you count the top 5 scores toward the team score. So of course that is the drop score right now. Nice big double back. So many wonderful elements in that balance beam routine, and it is just punctuated with amplitude. But here's the fall, side aerial. Oh, see, the foot came down on the edge of the beam to take off into the layout. Pretty amazing, actually.
But she kept going for it.
Exactly, and you need to do that because sometimes you can correct and save something out of midair.
Wow. All right. A rare hiccup for the Oklahoma Sooners on the beam. Remember, these 2 teams very close coming into this rotation. Florida gets their first score 9-9 or better on the floor. That's from Peyton Richards. Leanne Wong will be up now.
Okay, this first pass, she does a double Arabian into a stag jump. She's had a little trouble pulling it off as perfectly as she would like. She is a perfectionist. So watch this half turn into a front double, right into, there it is. That's what she's been working on the last few minutes to try to dial that back in.
So far tonight, a 9.95 on vault and 9.9 on bars. She's the only Florida gymnast competing in the all-around. Typically, the Gators have as many as 4 athletes in the all-around.
Very nice precision on those leaps. Her strength is in the lyrical dance. She loves this kind of music. Soft, flowing, elegant. And then strength on the tumbling, back on the half, front full. One of her best routines of the season. She's gonna be really happy with that. As I said, she's a perfectionist, and she wanted to compete last week to fix that. And they told her she needed to rest, have the mental break, and look how it paid off. Sky high, perfectly connected, and I love her jumps of her teammates on the sidelines. Oh. You cannot understate how hard these athletes work on all the details of every part of the routine, and when it pays off, it's so wonderful.
Reagan Smith now tied for 12th in the NCAA on this event. She scored a perfect 10 this season at an away meet against Denver.
And someone who really likes to work hard, always improving on the details. She tells her coach, KJ, what can I improve? What little thing can I fix?
Yeah, Kathy, you mentioned that, and this series is something they've been working really hard on, and specifically the weight distribution of the landing. So when she lands, is she absorbing with all parts of her foot? I thought that was really interesting that she's such a student of this event.
Slight little balance, lean correction, we call it. It's a small deduction.
Remember, Faith Torres had just a 9.35, so the Sooners will need a hit here from Reagan Smith to maintain the lead over Florida.
Of course, everyone will remember her nerves of steel at Nationals, pulling off a near perfect routine for the win.
Good point, Kathy. Last year at the championships, after not having her best meet, she delivered a 9.9625 to secure the win for the Sooners in that last rotation.
I absolutely love that combination. I love to hear the audience in the arena react to it as well.
Here's an interesting dynamic. Reagan Smith was the all-around champion, expected to compete for the World Championships 2017, sprained her ankle just before the meet. Morgan Hurd steps up and wins the World All-Around title. What a thrilling World Championship, and here it is now. Morgan Hurd competing for Florida, coming back from a knee surgery.
This routine is so big and dramatic. It's filled with difficult leaps. She must complete a full rotation in the air and show the position in the air to get credit.
Had to sit out all of last year because of that ACL tear as their 6th routine only this year for Florida.
That was a very difficult jump that she's paying special attention to. Look at the flexibility. perfectly controlled. Double pike. Oh, just out of bounds, but a really great landing. I love the way she performs with so much emotion.
As we go to the fourth and final rotation with the reigning NCAA champions, the Oklahoma Sooners, will be on the floor, and number 2 in the NCAA, Florida, set to go on the beam. Sloan Blakely will be up first for the Gators.
You guys are watching her visibly breathe, and we had a chance to ask head coach Jenny Rowland about how she instills calmness in her team. Obviously, balance beam, the last rotation, and when you're trailing, makes it even more nerve-wracking. And she said, it's a deliberate choice for me to stay calm, even though sometimes I want to throw up. But if you get a glimpse of her, she always looks so relaxed. She said that she talks to her athletes about being in their red, blue, and green zones. Red zone is when you're stressed. Green zone is laughing, not really focused, and blue zone is the best for competition. And she said Sloan Blakely is actually the best athlete on her team about being in the blue zone. She's focused, she has tunnel-like vision, and you can visibly see her breath throughout this routine. I'm watching her do it now. It's a big reason of why she's the athlete in charge of leading off Florida on beam. Check out that breath. No big issues so far in this routine. Finishes, gainer layout full. Check it out. Her blue zone took her to greatness again here today, Bart.
Oh, she has had a terrific day for the Florida Gators.
You can always tell when she likes that routine, that little head tilt at the end. I got it.
Take a look at the meet summary as we get into this fourth and final rotation. Oklahoma has extended their lead to .375. In that last rotation, Jordan Bowers had a 9.95 on beam for the Sooners. We go now to the floor. Belle Johnson, the Norman, Oklahoma standout, now competing in her junior year for the Sooners. A walk-on who earned a scholarship as well this year.
And always such an entertaining performer on this event. Opens with a combination from layout to Rudy.
7 of 8 times she's been in the floor lineup for the Sooners this season. A season high last week of 9.925 against West Virginia here at home.
Finishes with a double back here in tuck position. Oh! So a good routine, just a little awkward on the landing of that last pass. I thought at first she almost rolled an ankle, but she handled it just well enough. Let's see, a little angle in her shoulders on that back handstand. Yep, she did. I thought I saw that.
It's interesting,
Left
this is the
ankle
9th meet in the regular season, and these athletes have been competing at least once every weekend since early January. It does take a toll on the body, doesn't it?
We're exhausted and we're just talking.
Ellie Lazari now stand out for the Gators on the beam every time, coming after Sloan Blakely, a career high 9.95. What a day she had for Florida.
Ellie can be just a breath of fresh air on this event. So effortless, even on these difficult series, triple series with 2 layouts. And just makes it look easy.
She's been in the lineup all 8 times, season high 3 times of 9.9 here.
Beautiful position, full extension on those leap and the full split. Soft, floaty front aerial. You really want the combination of softness and supple arms in the dance, but very strong in the base, in the legs, and strength to control the landing of everything, every single skill. Cartwheel, gainer full. Nice job. Oh, love this triple series. Tumbles all the way down the length of the beam. Finds that landing just a little bit deep in the landing with the chest forward, but I don't know what she's laughing about. I think maybe she turned to the wrong way and didn't salute the judge.
Hey, this is good news. Audrey Davis now has been moved into the lineup. She's doing the all-around for only the 4th time this season for the Sooners tonight.
And Bart, I can't wait to see this routine. It's a very bluesy routine. She's so expressive. Opens with a front double twist, an E skill.
Bill Johnson led the Sooners off with a 9.725.
Lovely positions in her leaps. And the footwork we see her do on the beam, it shows up here on the floor. So exquisite. Back 1.5 front fold, difficult combination. The lines and the shapes that she creates in that routine are just glorious. I love it.
Great to see her in the all-around tonight. Her high individual score was on bars at 9.95.
And she did the difficulty with that front double twist and connecting these two twisting elements. Bonus in those combination passes as well.
The junior from Frisco, Texas, where she did her club training, originally out of Florida. A nice night for Oklahoma here in front of a record crowd. Kayla DiCello with my favorite mount in collegiate gymnastics. I love this.
As I mentioned earlier, she's tied for 4th in the nation with Jordan Bowers on this event. She has just been a rock star in the all-around, really. She is so steady, no weakness. Opens with a double wolf turn. Difficult, and she hangs on, but that will be a deduction when you break form, swing the arms, anything to correct your balance is a deduction.
The score came in for Audrey Davis on floor, a 9.9. Both scores for Florida on beam so far, 9.95 and 9.925. Remember, these teams were separated by just less than 0.4 of a point coming into this last rotation.
She does her acro series at the end, toward the end of her routine. Another slight balance correction there. And in gymnastics, it's always important, even if you've had a mistake early in the routine, to not make any more, because you never know which score is going to have to count. So good fight from start to finish. Not her best, obviously. On this double wolf turn, notice she's got a little shoe on that 1 foot so she can spin. She was off from the very beginning, was kind of ahead of herself with that swing leg. It just went around too quickly.
The early rounds of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Women's Tournament can be seen at Big 12 Now on ESPN+. It all starts Thursday at historic Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. If you prefer to attend the events, well, tickets are on sale at big12sports.com/buy tickets. Audrey Davis had an impressive 9.9, and that brings up Danae Fletcher. Terrific routine coming up, Kathy.
One of my favorite. The music I just love. And the intentionality of her choreography is wonderful. Whip back to a double tuck. Not sure if you noticed, but no hands on that first skill leading into it. It's called a whip back. Oh, she was off on that pass, but she fought all the way through that full. Got it around her feet. A little shy of the split on the first lead. 2.5 twist. That was a highlight of the routine. I love that. You know what? Finish. That is just the right amount of sass and power together. That's, love it. So she did the whip back. Most people do a back handspring into their double back. She does the whip back with no hands, and then a little bit off on that combination pass. Will be a slight deduction, but love this. Look at the form on the 2.5 twist and the height off the floor. Love it.
Trinity Thomas, as we mentioned at the top of the show, chasing that perfect 10 record. Here she is on beam, coming after Kayla DiCello, had a 9.85. One of the great benefits of both of these teams having such depth is they can play with their lineups a little bit.
And you want to know something that's so great about Trinity Thomas? She just altered what she usually does out of that switch leap mount. Normally she goes right into another leap. She kept it in control and then did 2 leaps in a row to fulfill that requirement of a dance series. Smart, talented. Oh, lifted that foot. That balance correction is a deduction. Aerial to 2 feet. Even when she's a little off, she's still beautiful to watch. And for young gymnasts watching, this is probably the routine you really want to see, because she shows you how you have to fight through things, even when it's not perfect, especially when it's not perfect. Side aerial, 1.5 twist, but she kept those feet still on the landing, so just a little bit off from start to finish. But she put on a clinic on how to make the adjustments necessary to not give more tenths away, and still show some beautiful work along the way.
Couple of notes from head coach Jenny Rowland for Trinity Thomas as we go back to floor. Danielle Sievers up for the Sooners. Danae Fletcher at 9.85.
Kathy, you were talking about the intentionality of these floor teams. Yesterday I was at practice and KJ Kindler was working with Danny Sievers on every single detail of her routine. And actually, specifically this dance move coming up, it's that detail-oriented that they work on every single eye move and point in that direction.
It's what makes their routine so special. It's one of KJ's favorite parts of coaching is creating these routines, from choosing the music and just the right style.
It's really important for her each year to come up with such a variety of routines so they don't have that cookie cutter music. And look, my goodness.
Oh, so much in that choreography. everybody, as hard as these athletes work, as athletic and talented as they are, they still need to and want to have fun. Because if you're not having fun, it ain't worth it.
For sure. Danny Sievers, Oklahoma, well known for a variety of different styles on floor, performing comfortably in front of this huge crowd with a good lead over Florida. Florida on the beam now with Leanne Wong, their only all-arounder, who has scored a 9.9 on bars and 2 9.95s on vault and floor today, having an outstanding day for the Gators.
An extraordinary all-around performance thus far, and she can be so good on this event. Her training from the time she was a little girl walking in the gym the first time has just been extraordinary and so evident in her work. Acro series here, back handspring layout, step out. As I said, the combination of soft, so she landed soft and yet firm. A great beamer just becomes one with the beam. Even on this side choreography, you want to show no lack of balance. Double twist dismount here if she can get the stuck landing. This is huge. Oh, hop to the side, not quite. She wanted it so badly. Oh.
Leanne Wong, a member of the national team, last year gold medalist with the U.S. team at the World Championships.
She knew she had a good one going and just really wanted to hang on to this, but she was off center, had that left shoulder down, and no way to save that.
I mentioned those world accolades because these are not only some of the best gymnasts in the country, but in the best in the world. And Leanne Wong herself, an all-around silver medalist at the 2021 World Championships, and still has plans to represent the United States in international competition as an elite competitor in addition to her work for Florida.
They were staying in the same hotel that we were, so I saw her at breakfast. I said, so when is your first elite thing after this season? I think it's like 10 days after national championships.
After a grueling week in and week out collegiate season. The last weekend of the regular season brings us some great college basketball games Saturday on ESPN and the app. Two of the top teams in the Big 12 square off at 4 Eastern with number 9 Texas hosting number 3 Kansas. Then it's Duke and North Carolina. And at 10 Eastern, the top teams in the Pac-12 get after it. Number 4 UCLA hosts number 8 Arizona. Faith Torres, 6th in the NCAA based on her floor national qualifying score, 9.945.
And this routine is packed with a punch. She is so powerful, and her technique, superb.
Oh.
Look at that double layout, well done.
Danielle Sievers had a 9.925.
Cockeyed on that first leap. The judges look for the legs to be parallel with the floor, not one leg higher than the other. She has such a superb repertoire of tumbling skills. She can, pull anything out of her bag of tricks. And with a front through to a double back, difficult combination pass and sky high. Well, certainly no deduction for amplitude. I will tell you that. She gets off the floor. Shows great tumbling technique on a round up back handspring. Really sets everything up so nicely. Look at the rise in that double layout. And her combination pass is a front tuck. You have to tumble forward and backwards in a floor routine, and she does it so well.
Just a freshman will contribute a great deal to the Sooners. as we head into the postseason. And here is Riley McCusker. This is her first time this season in the beam lineup for the Gators. Sam?
Yeah, Bart, and I asked Jenny Rowland why now? Why this far into the season? And she said, her training has been undeniable. She has really upped her game in the training, and we can tell that she has an extra edge, and she's ready.
Sam, she also said that every gymnast's timing is different, and now it is Riley's. Oh, darn. So it looked like she just had like a split second of, I don't want to say doubt, just not following through strongly to finish that front aerial. She may have felt slightly off. Beautiful form, elegant on that back handspring layout, step out. So you see the work there. It's beautiful. Love that she was able to make that little correction between those leaps to keep them moving.
Florida has 5 hit routines on beam with the high score Sloan Blakely's lead off 9.95.
And the dismount, gainer full off the side. She was one skill away of just a glorious introduction to the beam lineup. And as I said, just right in the middle, she was just off, and that foot did not land squarely on the beam at all, and no way to adjust. Oh, see that.
So Florida's team score of 197.7 will stand, because that will likely be the score they drop. They have 5 hit routines over there. Oklahoma has won this meet, as you can see, a 197.95. They can only add to it now with Jordan Bowers in this anchor spot. Faith Torres, a season-high 9.95 before her. The low score they're trying to replace in this rotation is a 9.725. So the Sooners have a chance to go over 198 for the 6th time in a row. That's miraculous.
Watch the intensity in this routine. And huge amplitude, high double back, and just drops it out of the sky. Twist, pulls that front tuck out, but just barely. It's a little bit more split in that lead. So many goodies in that routine. That one tumbling pass they're going to have to deduct for. But I loved the intentionality, we'll use that word again, and her focus, but the amplitude on her tumbling. That first pass especially was so good, but mistimed the punch out of the back 1.5. Or the front double. Wow, too bad.
As she was performing, the score came in for Riley McCusker, only a 9.275 for Florida. So as we said, Oklahoma will win this regardless of the score of Jordan Bowers. Second largest crowd in Lloyd Noble Center history to see the Oklahoma Sooner gymnasts as they take down Florida by 0.25. The Sooners with a 197.95. Florida 197.7 in a 2-versus-1 matchup.